Welcome to today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Expert advice on improving your home from remodeling contractor Danny Lipford and the home improvement pros from today's Homeowner magazine.
Well, as you can see, we're right in the middle of a kitchen remodeling project. And every time we feature a kitchen project here on the show, we get more email and letters from our viewers than any other time. Now, if you joined us last week, you saw the start of this project and how we progressed right up to the point where they were about to install the solid surface countertops. Well, this week, we'll recap all of that progress and show you the completed kitchen. Now, stay with us because over the next 30 minutes, we're going to show you a lot of features that are in this unique kitchen you may want in your kitchen. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. You know, one of the biggest differences we've seen in this kitchen over the last few days is the installation of the very popular solid surface countertops. You know, it's a great option for almost any kitchen project. But before we talk more about that, let me tell you how we've gotten to this point in this project. The existing kitchen cabinets have been painted white in the past, but they had really yellowed. Also, the homeowners told us they wanted a more spacious feel to their kitchen, so we knew some walls would have to come down. Now, we began by removing all of the cabinets and the walls between the kitchen, breakfast room, and family room. We first had to install several beams to support the second story of this home. Now, since several plumbing fixtures were being relocated, we jackhammered a trench in the concrete slab to route all of the water and drain lines. Next, the electrician installed all the recessed lights, switches, and plenty of wall outlets. The drywall went up and was finished, the floor was installed, and we were ready for cabinets. Now, we're using manufactured cabinets in this kitchen, so our homeowner sat down with our kitchen designer and planned out all the features they wanted in this kitchen. They chose their door style, they chose the type of stain they wanted, and a lot of things like the appliance garage, the glass doors, and the customized pantry that's being installed right now. Now, we allowed several weeks for the delivery of the cabinets before we needed them here on the job, but once they were delivered, we started unboxing over 50 boxes of cabinets. Now, the installation started with the wall cabinets. We first established a level line, then screwed the cabinets to the wall, making sure they hit the studs. Next, the base cabinets were put in place, screwed together, and to the wall wherever possible. Now, several of the cabinets had to be customized on the job to accommodate the unique layout of this kitchen. Now, with all of the cabinets in place and nice and level, it was time for the countertop man to show up. Now, the homeowners had a lot of different choices when you're talking about kitchen countertops. They could have chosen plastic laminate, which is very popular and very reasonable and available in hundreds of designs and different types of edge treatments. Cost on a kitchen like this in plastic laminate would be a little bit less than $1,000 for the materials and labor. Now, the solid surface material they chose is going to run a little over $3,000 for this same kitchen. But there's a lot of advantages. One the homeowners particularly like, and one of the reasons I think the solid surface has become so popular is its ability to go in completely seamless. Now, there's actually seams here and here in this large piece, but there's no way you can find them because it disappears so well in the fabrication process of the material. Also, the ability to create almost any type of edge treatment is also a big advantage. You can see how they've created a little bevel here and a thicker drop down piece that really makes the countertop look much thicker than it actually is. It's only about 3/4 of an inch thick, but that's sufficient for the type of strength that the homeowners wanted with this material. Now, the seaming and the fabrication is done in the countertop shop. The pieces are cut to size, seamed together with special adhesives, and sanded to a nice smooth finish. The edge treatment chosen by the homeowner is also added at this time. Now, when the sections are brought out to the job, they are set in place after a small amount of silicone adhesive is applied to the base cabinet tops. Now, the sink will be located here and also a secondary sink on the other side of the kitchen, and these will be cut out a little bit later once all of the rest of the countertop is installed. This way they can have the actual fixture in their hand, they can mark it out and cut it right on the job, so there won't be any problems with a mistake that may happen by taking measurements and going back to the shop with them. Now stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk about some of the fixtures and appliances that are going in this project.
Get ready to review your fix-it list as Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine repair and maintenance editor Joe Truini show you this week's simple solution. Brought to you by Dodge.
You know, your high school math teacher told you how important those math skills would be throughout life. Well, if you're a carpenter, you know how important it is to measure and cut accurately. If not, it costs you a lot of time and money.
That's right, Danny. Here's a technique that doesn't require any math at all, and it allows you to divide a board into equal parts. Let's start by taking the ruler off of a combination square. Then you set the 0 mark on one edge, and on the other edge you pick the number that you want to divide the board into. In this case, let's say we want to divide it into 8 equal parts. And then you simply make a mark at each of the inch graduations. Then you repeat the process on this end, and then you just connect the marks, and the board's automatically divided into the 8 equal parts.
Now I can see where that would be real handy if you're cutting, say, furring strips or batten strips out of a piece of 1x6 like this, but if you could use the same method on a piece of plywood, that would really be handy.
Well, you can. You need to use a tape measure, and there's a little bit of math involved, but it's still really easy. You start by hooking your end of your tape onto the corner of the sheet, and then you pick a number that's easily divisible by the number of parts. In this case, let's say we want to divide the sheet into 6 equal parts. So you set the 60-inch mark right on this edge, and then you make a mark at 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Then you move your tape down to the other end of the sheet, and you repeat the process, again keeping the 60-inch mark right on this edge. Then all you need to do is use a chalk line to snap a line between all the marks, and it's automatically divided into equal parts.
Well, this is a good one, Joe. You always have some great simple solutions, but this one I've never heard before. I look forward to sharing this one with my carpenters. Well, we're putting the finishing touches on all of the details in this kitchen remodeling project. Now, earlier today, certified kitchen designer Laura Lawrence dropped by the project to see how everything was going and to talk about her role in this kitchen renovation. Now, how can a CKD be helpful to homeowners when they're putting together those kitchen ideas?
Well, a certified kitchen designer has the education and experience background that allows them to be able to take their space planning that's needed, as well as the ventilation, the wiring, and the plumbing, and create a plan that's really going to work for the family.
Well, it sure helps us out as contractors to have a complete set of plans, because we can direct the electrician, the plumber to rough in everything right where it needs to go. That way when you're installing the cabinets, you're not having a problem with that. Now, how about the process here? How did it go as far as putting together these ideas?
It was a lot of fun. We worked in their existing kitchen to see how they use the space, and from that we kind of started throwing some ideas around. Once we decided to move the dining room, this plan really came together. The planning that we did is integral in the whole process, because you get all that done up front and you don't run into as many problems as the project goes along.
Right, well that helps us a lot again, but I love some of the ideas like the raised dishwasher. That makes so much sense to have it up a little higher than normal dishwashers.
It is. You see this a lot in kitchens these days. It makes a lot of sense to have this bottom rack 6 to 8 inches higher than you would in a normal installation. You're not bending over quite as far to get the dishes out of this rack, and of course the top rack is much easier to use as well.
Well, you know, on any kind of design, particularly kitchens, I love kind of the symmetry that goes with a lot of it. And here's a great example. You have the raised area on this side. It carries over and connects to another raised area.
This is great. It has continuity with the raised bar. The microwave is at a good location for this family, because the children are going to be using the microwave and the refrigerator back and forth, and they're not going to be in the primary area where Light will be cooking. It's a good height too. 24 to 48 inches is an ideal space for lifting heavy items, so this is ideal for all members of the family.
Now, we may mention that anytime you're building in a microwave like this, which is always a good idea to save a little of that countertop space, make sure you leave plenty of space around it so that it ventilates properly and works properly. But that really doesn't look that good, so they have trim kits like this that my carpenters will be installing on a little bit to actually dress that out and still provide the ventilation that it needs. And you still have that nice built-in look. And speaking of built-in, that's a big trend with having the boxed-in refrigerator.
It is. A lot of the appliance manufacturers are coming out with these low profile or shallow depth refrigerators, and you use the cabinetry to create the boxed in look. And it also helps keep the walkways wide enough that everybody can get through without having to fight for getting in the refrigerator.
Now, what about guidelines like that? I know certified kitchen designer like yourself have guidelines that you work with on this. What's suggested?
36 to 42 inches is recommended, 42 inches being ideal. As you get more cooks in the kitchen, you need to increase that some. For their family, we went with a 42-inch walkway all the way around the kitchen.
Okay, well, CKDs do a very good job in making a kitchen look good, but you also make one work well with proper ventilation.
This is a nice vent hood. It has a nice design as opposed to what you might have seen 20 years ago. It's nice and quiet. The lighting is wonderful for cooking. The noise is a good factor. This is a very open space with the family room. It's going to make a difference on containing the noise, containing the odors, and containing the smoke in this area.
Yeah, that works perfect. It makes a big difference in the heating and cooling that you have as far as the needs for a kitchen. And of course, this is a very popular surface.
It is. This is a ceramic top. It's nice, easy to clean. This is a drop-in model, so it has a nice built-in look with the countertop as well as the cabinetry surrounding it on 3 sides.
Well, I can tell you spent a lot of time on this kitchen and really put a lot of hours in making sure everything comes out just right, and even coming out to the job site to keep an eye on the contractors. I thought that's a good idea. Stay with us. When we come back after this Best New Product segment, we'll look at the completed kitchen.
It's time to check out this week's Best New Product with Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine Editor-in-Chief, Paul Spring. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
You know, Danny, the bottom line on Best New Products is we're just looking for products that will make people's lives easier, and in this case, it's out in the garden.
Now, this is a great example. If you're using a hose out in your yard and you're always it's going to be too short for the task you're doing, you're going to have to get another hose, you hook them together. They're always going to leak unless you have the Swan hose link system. Now, with just a quarter of a turn, this quick disconnect system opens up. You have the nice rubber O-ring inside that really provides a good watertight seal. The same thing for the other end. When you have an implement like this, you can put it right together on the male end of it, just tighten it up, and then you can pull it apart just like that. And you can store this with this, put it in your storage room. Anytime you need it, you hook it right back together, and you don't have to worry about wasting that valuable water.
You know, Danny, here's another one that's useful. This is the gooseneck swivel lopper from Fiskars. And this is a tool with a lifetime warranty. It allows you to get into a tree and get the leverage on those branches that makes it a lot easier to do your pruning. First of all, you can swivel it 360 degrees around, so you can get to that limb and still be able to be in a position yourself where you have the most leverage. It also gives you that 15 inches of gooseneck that allows you to get in the interior of the tree. It's a bypass lopper with a Teflon coating, and they run around 50 bucks.
Well, I can clearly see how these made the Best New Product list. Now, this is the part of the show I've really been looking forward to, where I can show you all of the details that make up this unique kitchen. Now, the homeowners have already moved in and already realized how much nicer their new kitchen is than their old kitchen. Now, the old kitchen was fairly large in size, but it appeared much smaller because of the walls that enclosed the kitchen. Also, it was very out of date with the yellowing paint, really screamed for a remodeling project. Well, now that the walls have been removed, all the countertops are in place, and has really opened it up to the breakfast room and the den area. Now, even though we've had plenty of room to work with, we utilized every inch of it. Now, here's a good example in how we handled this pantry area. Now, it's only 3 feet wide and 2 feet deep, but you can put a lot of stuff in this pantry with can racks on both of the doors and then pivoting can racks here in the center that reveal adjustable shelving behind it. But what's really neat is how easy this is to adjust this. You just slide this out, pull this out, and then you can move your little silver clips anywhere you need them so that you can fully maximize your space you have available in your pantry. Of course, we also have plenty of cabinets overhead, everything with adjustable shelving. And then over on this side, we have a neat little food prep area. Of course, the task light, which is a fluorescent under counter light shining right down on the counter, really makes a difference there. And of course, prep sinks or secondary sinks are real popular in kitchens today. But what we've done here, we've put a disposal in the sink and an air activated switch, which is very similar to one that you may see on a Whirlpool. Air pressure turns it on and turns it off. Now, this is a real simple little unit that you have attached to the back of the wall. and it really works with the garbage disposal to take care of that. And that's much better than having a switch on the wall where you're reaching up with wet hands. Now I'll tell you something we've installed here that may enable you to get your children involved a little bit in cleaning up your kitchen, and it's a little foot activated central vac floor sweep. You sweep things up right up to this area. You can just kick this with your foot, and then you're able just to sweep this right into your central vac system. Now maybe that'll get those kids to help you clean up a little bit. Utilizing space, nothing better than a lazy Susan to fully take advantage of all of the space available in the corners like that. And there's several different types that are available. Also, appliances can be tucked away out of sight right in the appliance garage. And when you're really trying to utilize space, putting a few drawers in really help out, particularly if they're organized like this one that keeps all of your cutlery lined up well, and then your cutting block right above it here. It's perfect for that. Slides right in, out of the way. Now the homeowners also had the countertop contractor put a piece above the range top here to protect that wall. It's always a good idea. Now we've also carried the same type of cabinetry over into the breakfast area with storage here below the bar overhang, even a nice little cookbook shelf. Over in the far corner, a desk section with some overhead storage. And of course, if you're working in the kitchen, it's always nice to have a little music. In the stereo, you can control it from the kitchen or anywhere in the room. So, pretty neat idea. Now, if you're working in the kitchen, you're going to spend a lot of time here at the kitchen sink. But you're not going to feel excluded from the rest of the family because it's so open to the breakfast room and the den. Now, we talked about several ways to fully utilize your kitchen cabinets. Here's one of the best. A roll-out tray gives you full access to everything you have in the cabinets. Of course, also a good way to save space is to tuck your garbage can away. Now here, we have just one garbage can, but actually this roll-out tray could accommodate two, give you an opportunity to do some recycling, and a real space saver trash compactor. This one's only 12 inches wide instead of the traditional 15 inches wide. And if you've never had a trash compactor, you ought to try one. I have one at my house, and that's one of my tasks around the home is to take out the trash. That saves me a lot of time. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Now let's go outside for Around the Yard with Danny and lawn and garden expert Barbara Katz. Brought to you by Scott's Lawn Products for a great lawn, guaranteed.
Danny, this plant here on this arbor is called wisteria, and if it were springtime, we'd be walking through here and we'd be completely enveloped in this amazing fragrance. You know, fragrance is one of those things in the garden that a lot of people ignore. They love the flowers and the colors, but fragrance can add a whole new dimension to the experience of spending time in your yard.
Well, you know, it's perfect location here with walking through the gate and picking up on that aroma. What are some other plants that you can achieve the same thing?
We've got one right here. This is called the buddleia, or the butterfly bush. And this has a real pretty little delicate flower. Comes in a couple of different colors, and it's also available pretty much throughout the country. It's going to flower for a long time in the summer, and it's got a lovely scent. There's also some new daylilies which we have on the market, which have a wonderful fragrance. Some shrubs like viburnums and summer sweet. There are a couple things, really. You got to just go to the nursery and spend some time using your nose.
Okay, now what about surrounding your patio area or a little sitting area like the homeowners have over here with plants? Is that a good idea?
You know, it's tempting, but there are a couple problems that I see. For one thing, what smells good to me might smell really nasty to you. And some of the other things are that you've got bees. Anytime you've got flowers, you're going to have bees. And if you've got allergies or children, you got to be a little bit careful about the entertaining area.
So when you're selecting plants for your house, pick the ones that look good to you, but also the ones that smell good to you. Now this has really been a fun project, and earlier today I had an opportunity to show the homeowners around, and they really love their new kitchen. I also want to thank a couple key people who really helped on the ideas and design of this kitchen. They include Laura Lawrence, our certified kitchen designer, and Leslie Claggett with the editorial staff of today's Homeowner magazine. Also, I would really like to thank these folks.